BA, and Praise. We missed y'all. I hope y'all missed us too, because we back and we gonna bring the heat per usual. Today we gonna talk about client acquisition. Yes, it's hard to make money when you ain't got people to pay you. And so if you're a coach, consultant, business owner, or otherwise that's interested in learning how to bring in more leads, which is always a struggle for many people, this is the place you want to park. Okay. As always, if this is helping you, share it. Just share the love, spread the love. Don't be shy, okay? And we will make sure to do our part. And if y'all got any questions, please leave it in the chat, and we will get to them as we continue in the conversation. Praise, what's up, my brother? How we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling great. Feels good to always hear some wise words from BA. So, I'm always
I hope
excited
I
to have
got some. I
a
hope I got
conversation.
some.
You got a vault, man. So it's fun asking you questions. You're not Chat GPT, but you BA up there. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So it's been good. But yeah, I got a few just personal questions about your character that I feel like has also translated to you in business. Even before we got on the call, it was a small remark. You were like, it's a new challenge every day. So I wanted to ask you, what helps you get through these challenges every day? What is the mindset that you have that helps you continuously get through these challenges?
Man, that's a really good question. I think for me, and I kind of alluded to this ironically in a story on Instagram yesterday, where I got this weird conundrum in my life that no matter how hard it get, I don't have another option.
Mm,
So when you wired the way that I am, that I believe that even if you aren't naturally wired this way, you can program, because everything is programming, right? We didn't know anything when we came out the womb. We've been
yeah,
programmed and conditioned to learn everything that we've learned and accepted to be true in our lives. I do think based on God's gifting and wiring that there's certain things that naturally come to some more than others, but nonetheless, you can always revamp your wiring system. I just believe that.
yeah,
Part of what I've discovered though about me is because I'm unable to quit anything, I'm able to pivot from things, but I'm unable to quit anything.
mm,
Then that then the way that I view challenges is different because I just know that there's just more obstacles that I have to overcome to get to whatever it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And because the things that I've set forth that I'm gonna do day in and day out are non-negotiable, then I just got to get through. I got to weave through the obstacles to get to the goal. And I, I'm grateful for that. As painful as it is, I'm grateful for it because it gives me no other option, bro. Like literally, I never think like, oh, this is an out. I always think I got to get this out the way because I got to get to whatever it is that's next.
how does that, because we're in a generation that only looks for outs. So when did that develop? Was that just something, like you said, just came naturally for you? Was that like an upbringing? Like, how did you just develop a mindset of just like, this is this is not an out. Like, I got to get through this? Because for me, we in the one of the laziest generations ever, right? We got the Uber Eats now. We got Chat GPT. We got all these things that are just shortcuts and outs for us putting in the work. But something that just being under your leadership and mentorship, you put in the work, right? Regardless of position. And I always talk about how location doesn't change behavior. Behavior changes your location.
Mhm.
And for you, your behavior has remained the same. You day in and day out putting in the work. So how does one develop that mindset? Like, how did you come to that?
You know, I think I would have to attribute this to my parents.
Okay.
Okay, some things are taught, other things are caught. My father was a firefighter for the city of Detroit for 30 years. By the time he retired, and I may be off a little bit when I say this, but because he didn't miss really, I think he missed, let's just say 10 days in 30 years, right? Now, granted, their schedule is such that they work 9, 11 days a month because they work 24-hour shifts. But point being, at the time of his retirement, they owed him like six figures from time off that he never took,
Mm,
right? Some things are taught, other things are caught. I just always saw him going to work and doing whatever it was that he was supposed to have been doing, regardless of how he felt about it, regardless of all the things. My mom was a cashier at a grocery store for 25 years, right? So always seeing her going to work. So it was never really directly said to me like you finish what you start, but that's just kind of what my observation was. So I guess that became normal for me. You know what I mean, to some degree. Like I didn't have an example of a quitter, so I guess I just never thought that that was an option.
No, that's good.
You know
That's
what I
good.
mean?
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
that's a very interesting question. I would have to say that. Like as much as I want to say I just ain't ever quit nothing, I would have to give honor and credit to them. I think that they just set an example of work ethic that I never considered what it looked like to not do whatever you're supposed to do.
No, that's good. Because as I and we'll get to this obviously in another conversation, but it's just been a lot of internal work for me, right? Like a lot of deep work. Like what, like who taught me the way I'm living right now, right? Like that's really what I've been studying because I realized how it's played a part in business as we had our Zoom call the other day, right? But I'm seeing how important it is to really do that work. Um, and someone like you, it's not normal in this generation to finish what you start. It's not. Like, let's just be honest, it's not normal. So seeing you do it at such a high rate, it's like where did this come from? Right? Because a lot of people they want to finish what they start. Like, for example, especially in business, I think that's one of the things that separates you from a lot of other people in business. You're just not going to quit. You're just going to find a way to make it work no matter what. So would you say that's something that people are lacking in the marketplace, like that desire to push through obstacles and not quit? Because for
One,
you it's
one,
normal,
one
right?
thousand, 1,000%, bro. By the way, if it's any comments, I can't see them again today. I don't know why I can't see the chat on my end, but
Okay.
but 1,000%. So we're talking about client acquisition today. One of the biggest challenges for people to have client acquisition is you're not consistent enough, long enough for your clients to trust you enough to want to become a client.
Mm,
Stopping short. Like you don't do the work long enough to allow the client to trust that you're gonna be. Think about it. If they can't trust that you're gonna show up for them every day on social media, why would they think that once they pay you, you would? How we do anything is how we do everything. So if I can't trust for you to show up and be consistent and do the things that you say, people be like, I'm about to start a 30-day challenge on my content. Day 7, where did they go? They pop back up 3 months later and hey y'all, hey y'all, right? Like
yeah.
first of all, is the content for you or them? That's the first question we got to ask. Is the content for you or them? Because if it's for them and you care enough about them, then you're going to continue to do it for them.
Mm,
But if you posting because it's for you to only make money, then you're gonna have a hard time. And the stick to itness ain't gonna be there. Because your motives as to why you're doing it don't coincide with their motives as to why they would want to buy from you. The best way to prove to someone that you can help them is to help them. And the only way you're going to do that is if you show up with a daily diet. So, yes, there's an extreme problem with sowing seeds, watering them, letting it cultivate and grow. People want to sow seed, reap harvest same day. It don't work like that.
mm.
Not because I don't want it to, because it just don't. It never has and it never will. Now, if you can become a habitual seed sower, then for my weed growers out there, you can start having perpetual cycles, right? Where you plant your first crop. I listen to a lot of things. Okay, I'm not going on record saying I've ever done this before. All right, but you plant your first crop, and then after they go through their flower season and they bud and all the things, right? You dry them and you go do the things. Then if you got perpetual if you got other crop planted, then what happens is, although that first crop may have taken say 3 months or 6 months to go through that entire process. Well, if you wait for 3 to 6 months until after that happens to then plant the new crop, then what happens, right? Your harvest time is longer, as opposed to while I'm letting this initial crop go through its process. Why wouldn't I just go ahead and plant another one on month 2, plant another one on month 3, plant another one on month 4, plant another one on month 5? So while this one is going through its natural process over that 4 to 6 month period, I've also got others that are coming up. So that's called perpetuating a harvest. So instead of waiting for one cycle to complete, you perpetuate cycles for more harvest. Same as, I mean, that's just farming 101, right? People are too lazy to be habitual seed sowers. And so they may run a play, sow a seed, run a play. At the end of that play, they reap a harvest, but then they starting over again, which is deflating, by the way. Because you put this time, energy, and effort into this thing, you waited for it to pop, it finally popped, whatever the result was from that. It's kind of like realtors, as an example, right? They sell a house, they get a commission. If they in, depending on the type of market they in, especially if they're in a luxury market, maybe they don't get another transaction for 5 6 months. But because that 50 grand was so great on that one commission, they kind of thinking like I'm good for 6 months until my next transaction. Until not realizing that when your outflow exceeds your inflow, you got a cash flow problem, right? So while you're waiting for that next commission, you burning through that 50 grand. So it's like really going out of business every time you do that. At the end of every transaction, you're unemployed. So same is true with your content. Same is true with your client acquisition. Every single time you post, you're unemployed again. So you got to keep posting every day. If people could just understand this concept, bro, like every time you post, you're unemployed.
That's a great concept. I wasn't even you just you just have many master classes up here. I promise you. That's so good because it's so easy to look at content like it's not growing, right? To just be like it's not growing. For example, to even give you an update, making it the smallest pivot of having a conversation with people, I'm getting way more outreach than I've ever been getting. Just on
Mm-hmm.
that alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just it being talking with them instead of talking at them, taking them along my journey. And it was so funny because I'm thinking, telling them, I'm like, hey, you need to fix this. Like we said, I was so fixated on giving them the message, they never got the message, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once I was just like, hey, this is what I learned in my life. Like that's when everybody's like, oh wow, this is great. And I didn't know because on TikTok you'll get more outreach than you'll do on Instagram because of following and stuff like that. But I'm getting more outreach just because I'm talking about just myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like that little small tweak in itself got me more outreach. So you even saying post like you're unemployed every time you post as unemployed, that's something that I've never heard before. Honestly, people just say just post until one day it just blow up, just keep
Yeah, I mean,
posting.
just think of it like this. If you had a dope ice cream shop, right? And I'm talking about like dope ice cream shop. The place be flooded every day. And then somebody come in on Tuesday, you say, "Hey y'all, we got back orders, you know what I mean? The ice cream ain't came yet." Come in on Wednesday, I'm so sorry, y'all. I promise y'all we should it was supposed to be here yesterday. We should have it by Friday. You know what they're doing? They're getting their ice cream from somewhere else. Don't matter how good the ice cream was. If you can't get me my daily diet of what I need, I got to go get it from somewhere else. Your content no different. But it starts with the heart posture of why am I creating this? Now, yes, of course, there's nuance to how do we make this for them, but we then can benefit from it as business owners, 1000%, right? We teach that inside of our masterminds. But the key ingredient is that it has to start with serving them and serving them consistently what they need and want. and people just too inconsistent, bro. They be and as much as I want to say they're inconsistent uh because they don't see the growth, they're really inconsistent because the reason they started was flawed.
Mm.
Like you got to really believe in what you're talking about and what you're giving people every single day. Prime example, right? Since we're here. So last night, I made a post yesterday about why I love the Bible, right? That if you apply certain things, like I forget it was Proverbs 23:6 or something like that, that talks about how we need to stop sharing our wisdom with fools, right? Because they're gonna be a fool, not appreciate it. So from that, guy sends me a DM, young guy, that says, "Brother, in all honesty, I'm going through it with lust, weed, anger, discipline issues, and worldly thoughts and actions. What must a young Christian do like myself?" Right? So I gave him some game. 1 Corinthians 10:13. No temptation is overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God, who is faithful, he will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will always provide a way out. Right? So I'm giving him some game. But what's my point? I'm intentional with the content I'm putting out for that to happen. But how are we thinking about what we're doing and what we're putting it out for? I could put a bunch of stuff out to just entertain people to get reach every day, but I'm not doing that, bro. That's a waste of my time. This a guy who was potentially losing his life if he didn't have that interaction last night. I'm not saying that I'm no redeemer, right? But I was a conduit as a result of the content that I put out. He just followed me yesterday. The only reason why we had that conversation because I sent the message out to say, "Hey, thanks for the follow. Would you read my page?" And he was like, "The post that you put up." And then immediately, bro. So imagine who he must not have in his life that he was willing to be that vulnerable with me after knowing me for 5 minutes. But it go back to what you're saying, having intentional conversation with people in your content, not just beating people across the head, making them feel belittled and stupid. But at the very same time, acknowledging where they've been stupid and helping them get out of that place without calling them stupid. Because we all been stupid on one end or another.
Yeah.
By the way, for those that's listening and watching, this is client acquisition, just so you know. It's not the post that you put out to say, "Hey, sign up to book a call with me. Hey, send me That's not client acquisition. That's just a call to action. What you do before all of that is the client acquisition part. The intentionality behind what you post on Monday and what you post on Tuesday and what you post on Wednesday and what you post on Thursday and what you post on Friday and what you post on Saturday. And if you post on Sunday, what you post on Sunday. We post 6 days a week. We take Sundays off like Chick-fil-A, right? But we post every single Monday through Saturday is up consistently for years though. If my other page when it never got hacked, you would have saw, bro. I not only had a posting streak of multiple years, I had a story streak at one point that spanned over the course of a year, where I had at least one story posted every single day. At one point, I used to buy devotional books, and I would put up a devotional every single day. They would read what I read every single day for years. Why? Because it was convenient? No, because I care. And when they know that you care enough, then they'll pay enough. People think it's, oh, I got to go viral. No, you need to be viral in their hearts that you care. That's the virality that you need. That's the viral you need.
Man, no, this is yeah, you on one today, B. This is good. And I wanted to even and you saying that you were doing that for years, the verse popped up into my mind where it was like, go to work and don't look at the clock. Like how important is it to just go to work and not look at the clock? I was saying this on a live the other day that I had. I was like, we don't look at the clock when we partying, when we having fun, when we on a trip. We don't look at the clock then. But when it's time to better ourselves, when it's time to educate ourselves, when it's time to invest in ourselves, we looking at the clock. And it's backwards in this generation. So I wanted to ask you, you saying everything you did, first off, I hope y'all listening because he just gave y'all a master class on how to get clients, which is something I'm definitely gonna implement immediately. But I wanted to ask you, how important is it to just go to work and not look at the clock? Because for me right now, like I told you, I'm in execution mode. I don't want to hear another thing until I run the play to the ground and keep running it and keep running it and keep running it, because literally what you said, I need to be more consistent. You know what I'm saying? And I'm okay with saying that because I know what I was raised from. I didn't have a consistent figure. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying my reason, and I'm gonna break it. Simple. Like I'm not gonna say like, yeah, I can't. Nobody ever showed me how to be consistent. That's not an excuse. There's a reason, right? But I wanted to ask you, how important is it to just go to work and not look at the clock?
Well, I think too much of anything can be a problem. I think we should always be consciously aware of time, which is why I believe for most people, the most effective way to manage your time is to actually account for it. So I have time on my calendar of when I'm supposed to be in a portal in one of my programs, just like I would be in school, and in that portal doing that. I got time on my calendar when I'm supposed to be reading. I got time on my calendar for all my meetings. I have time on my calendar for when I'm shooting podcasts. I got time on my calendar for content creation. I got time. So I don't necessarily believe in going to work and not watching the clock. I get the vernacular though, but for me, I think it's important that you account for your time, because if not, a guy like me gonna procrastinate. When it's all up here, then it becomes kind of like crippling as to what I'm supposed to do next. So I would much rather have a day. Now, don't get me wrong, days like Tuesday I thought was Thursday because I did just that much, right? Starting out from an elder meeting at my church that morning that I had to drive an hour to get to, and there for 2 hours, and then right into a marketing meeting, and then an oil change, and then two meetings in between that, and then all the way into the evening I had a coaching call with our believers in business community that night, and everything else leading up to that, right? So what I'm saying is that on those type of days, I'm not cognizant of how much I got accomplished because it was just line items on my calendar that I had to check off. So that also helps with keeping you from becoming overwhelmed because I can only live in the moment that I'm in, right? We got a podcast after this. I ain't thinking about that right now because I'm in this moment. But it's on my calendar. So when I get off of here, I can't just go and do nothing willy-nilly because there's something on my calendar that say 3:15, I got to be at this place. So what happens is the more disciplined you are with your time, the more freedom that you have as a result of that.
Mm.
Freedom is bondage. It leads to decision fatigue, overwhelm, anxiety, because I just got all this free space, this free time, when it ain't free. So the more disciplined I am about that actually becomes freedom for me because now everything, I know what I'm supposed to do. I don't have to guess or make a complicated decision about what I'm supposed to be doing. So most people think if I got all my stuff scheduled on my calendar, that's too rigid. But I would argue that not having it on there is causing more disorder.
Mm.
Because now you don't know what you're supposed to do. Somebody invited you to happy hour today. Somebody invited you to a seminar today. Somebody invited you to a birthday party today. So, like, how you supposed to know which ones you're supposed to do and not do? As opposed to me saying, "Oh, I already got something on my calendar at 6. Yeah, today ain't gonna work." Easy. I ain't got to think about who I got to let down because I ain't gonna let me down. So whoever else, I mean, it's on them. I was texting with somebody the other day, and they were like, "Yeah, I got to make better decisions." I said, "No, you don't. You just need to make one decision and commit to that, and stop letting it be complicated because it's not complicated. You are allowing your life to be complicated."
Man, no, this is good, B. Cause yeah, you you exposing everyone and everything, man. Because it's so easy to say that. Like I know what that's like to not put nothing on the calendar and just think my mind gonna schedule it for me, right? Like I've done that multiple times. It was literally up until recently where I was like, okay, like I put um my schedule now with 4 quadrants. It's prayer, work, study, rest. That's my day. Prayer, work, study, rest. I had to switch it up because I was putting 10 billion things and there were and I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. Just writing stuff out, right? But there was no time for it. Like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
say, all right, at this time, this is what I'm doing. So I had to literally revamp my whole schedule to just put it in 4 quadrants of the day. Like I'm praying this time, I'm working at this time for my business and everything. I'm studying at this time, and then I'm resting here. Because I was even just asking myself, this was yesterday. I was like, if God were to bless my business now, would my schedule be maintainable? Like, would I have a good enough schedule to maintain the blessing that God gave me? And I was like, no, it's not. Like, I need to revamp it because I knew I was like, if this is how I expect to go into business and being elevated, then I'm in for a rude awakening, thinking I could just, all right, this day I'm gonna just do this, or no, I'm not gonna. No, I'm like you said, my life's not complicated. Don't make it complicated. So that's why today it was great because I felt free in my discipline. Woke up
Mm-hmm.
early, read my book, did my studying, did my work. Now I got like 2 things left for the day and I'm resting, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I was disciplined though. I seen the difference immediately. I have way more energy, way more excitement in the work that I'm doing because I'm disciplined in doing it. And I'm just not freestyling like, all right, at this time I'm gonna go do this and that. Because that's how it was before. It was so easy to freestyle because in a season where I'm being trained and I'm learning and being still at the same time, it's so easy to freelance. Like, especially being 23, I'm like, dang, like everybody. Like, sometimes that's where my mind wanders to, but I have to keep reminding myself, like, I'm building something other 23-year-olds and other people my age just aren't building. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in connection with people that God hasn't graced other people to be in connection with. So I'm thinking of the opportunity now because I can't get mad at nobody but me. I remember when you were talking about, you were like, there's no point of you going to complain to God if you're not going 100%. I will never forget that because people be complaining, and my response is like, "Are you going 100%? Like, are you putting in the work to do what you complaining to God about?" And I realized that was all I was doing in my quiet time. I'm like, Lord, you ain't blessing me. Lord, you ain't doing this. Lord, you ain't doing that. He's like, bro, you haven't prayed to me in the last 3 days. You haven't opened your Bible in the last two. You haven't done none of the work that you said you were supposed to do. It's just a amount of me saying I want God to bless me this way, but I don't want to put in no work for it. Faith without works is dead, right? So that's really what I was realizing, the shift that I had to make. Like, yo, everything I'm believing God for, I got to put in 2 times of work and actually work towards it, and not let it just be some mouth candy that it just sound good, you know?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, but you just said something that going back to client acquisition. Some of y'all out there right now have been praying, complaining, and praying to God about more clients. And his question to you is, how you showing up now to show me how you gonna show up for them when I send them?
mm,
Again, you only create content when you feel like it, not because it's a requirement. Some of y'all actually have people comment on y'all stuff and you don't even acknowledge them. You make a post, somebody comment on your post, and you don't even you ignore them. You that busy. When you really think that that's posturing, making you some type of influencer or something to not interact, because that's what the people with millions of followers do. Well, you ain't them, and they shouldn't do that either. But you certainly shouldn't. People are paying attention to all the things. So it's layers, bro. Like how we do anything is how we do everything. Just because you pray and asking God for it, He's also monitoring how are you. What are you doing? What I've already put in your hand? How are you maximizing the opportunities you already have? You putting out lead magnets. By the way, for those watching, a lead magnet is simply something, hopefully, a value that you create, an ebook, a template, uh, anything of that nature, a newsletter that people, as they find you, whether through paid advertising or organic, they give you their information and opt in to your system, right? Opt in would just mean name, email, maybe even phone number. And then that means you can get their information so that you can market to them in the future. Well, people be creating these lead magnets that aren't of value really. You want to increase your client acquisition, that lead magnet should solve an immediate problem for the person who hands that it's in. It could be a small win, but it got to be something. It can't just be more information. They could go anywhere to get information now. It's got to be a value that can help to do something to change their life, right? So again, the reason that I'm saying this, bro, is because people see and use mechanisms, but they don't have the heart behind why they're using it.
Mm.
Oh, I created an ebook. Okay, cool. How does it help the person though? Or is it just something you were passionate and excited about? Because just because you was passionate and excited about it, don't mean it's gonna help their life as a result of them consuming it. Nobody care how cute you was on the picture. So
100%.
that's one of the classic problems that I see now is that people just don't have a lot of heart behind what they're doing. They just rushing to get stuff to the market to try to rush and get some money from folks, but they're not considering how good is the substance.
No, that's good, B, because even with this with our coaching call that we had last night, everything right now, right, niched down, got the lead magnet that I'm about to build, which is an ebook after every month of the pillar that I'm done, right? Got everything panned out. It's literally just a matter of being consistent enough, long enough, so they can come and pay me enough. That's what it is, right? It's not another step. It's not another instruction. It's not no fancy way to do anything because I realize it's just a matter of running the play, being consistent enough, showing up to the gym, getting where every data, right? Like I even with my team, I was like, yo, we posting Tuesday through Saturday. Simple. Monday got to be my Sabbath. I don't want to look at a phone because right, on Sundays it's still you may do whatever you got to do. But I'm like Monday my Sabbath. I just need to get away from everything so I can get downloads or whatever I got to do. And that's also our team meeting. And I just don't want to. That's my day I fast and all that stuff. And I'm like posting Tuesday through Saturday consistently. When we start, even now, making sure I'm posting Tuesday through Saturday consistently. But I'm like, now that I'm starting the podcast and all that stuff, I'm like, listen, that content Tuesday through Saturday every day. Like we are not missing a day. We going live Tuesdays and Saturdays as well. We cannot miss a day. I'm like, this isn't something where I'm coming back with a new game plan. This is making sure we're being consistent with this one because I can't give us a new one or we can't take another step. I can't teach y'all new information. I can't even gain new information until I implement the information I already have. And that's what I realized. That's where I'm at. It's a matter of being consistent long enough. I got the idea. God gave me the prompt and he gave me the direction. Now it's time for me to go. That's it. Like that's where my mind is at. Just go, lock in, and stay focused on that because it's been so easy. I made a video on this and God literally had made me eat my own sermon where I was like, your inconsistency will make you look for a harvest you didn't plant seeds for. It is so easy to be inconsistent and now you go switch and then you switch again and then you switch it again because you're just waiting to see which is going to bring the quickest harvest. And like you said, you don't plant and harvest in the same day, right? And I didn't realize that was my heart posture behind some of the work I was doing. That's why I've been doing a lot of hard work, because I'm like, I don't want to approach anything in business just for some quick rich get scheme, right? I don't want that, right? I want to make sure everything is being in alignment with what he wants and in alignment with integrity. Because one thing about you that I've seen is your integrity. You not switching up nowhere. You BA everywhere, right? So I want to make sure that no matter where I'm at, I'm being praised. No matter where I'm at, it's the same heart posture, whether if it's a speaking event, whether it's content, whether it's this podcast, right? And then on top of that, even with me pivoting to this podcast, I'm like, now that I have my niche and I know who I'm talking to, and I had to really narrow it down, because at first, right, I said the 18 to 30, but I narrowed it down to the 18 to 25, and it's people who want to figure out what problems to solve. What answer did God create me to be? That's the people that I'm helping, right? And that's what my podcast is going to be on. That's why every week I'm pulling back a different layer, but I finally niched it down to the point where I know who I'm talking to, right? Because it was easy to talk to my age group, but not to the person. Does that make sense?
Oh,
Right? Like it's easy to
100%. Like the person should have a name, right? And they
right,
have
right,
attributes and
right,
characteristics, and they work somewhere, and they date somebody, or they married to
right.
somebody, and all the things, right? So 100%. That's one of the biggest barriers when you talk about client acquisition. That's one of the biggest barriers for people is they don't know who they're talking to,
Mm,
and they think by keeping it more general means that they're going to attract more people, but the more specific that you are, you attract more people. Because when you speak in general, then everybody's confused as to who you're talking to. The more specific you are, the more people that you'll attract. The more general you are, the less people you'll attract. It may be more eyeballs on your thing, but it's not going to get you more clients because nobody knows that they are your client because it's too general. Does that make sense?
yes, 100%.
By the way, is it anybody in the chat? I haven't, because I can't see on this side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been Jack, Cassandra, um, financial firefighter said aloha from Hawaii,
Yo,
um, and all night hider. And some great advice was to ask someone if they okay, yeah, but that's it. Yeah, that's really it. But yeah,
yeah. What
they
they talking about?
they just talking about few things is Cassandra said I'm hitting heavy with the questions. Um, Jack said there's no quit. If you quit, then you're done and shut off. And it's okay to pivot, but there's no quitting. And then All Night Hider said my plan is penciled in, not etched in stone, so I can stay nimble and ready to pivot. Um, and then All Night said I'm hearing this ear candy and appreciate it, but I'm working and making strides, so not really listening. He says he's going to enjoy the replay. And
Okay.
then yeah, they asked how old I was. I'm 23, by the way. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
23 years old. So yeah, I'm a young protege to be
Yes,
at.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, protege to
Yeah.
be at.
Yeah. So that's the thing is people getting more clear about who they help. Like one of my favorite questions when people send me a DM is I'm like, what do you do? And bro, it's a paragraph every time. I'm like, that's not what you do. If that's what you do, you're broke.
Mm,
Cause I wouldn't understand if you what some the stuff I read at times, I help people reach uh, a certain satisfaction in their life while defining their homeostasis, and after doing so, becoming a better citizen in society, which then helps to grow the. I'm like, bro, who is that?
that's too long.
It ain't saying nothing. People think just because it sounds intelligent, make it smart. Like that, every time that you speak, you're signaling to somebody something.
Yeah.
And so if I ask you what do you do, and that's what you explain to me, then how many people aren't buying from you because they're unclear? right? As an example, you come to my page, it's multifaceted. Okay. You're gonna hear things about faith, you're gonna hear things from scripture, you're going to see some of my lifestyle. But when I'm teaching, you're very clear as to who I'm teaching though. If I'm talking about webinars, I may not say, are you a coach, consultant, or whatever. But if I'm talking about selling on webinars, and that I'm still signaling to my avatar because I know what they use every day, right? And other pieces, I'm gonna say flat out, if you a coach and you built your program on making you the reason people buy, then you ain't building a business, you building a prison. Because it shouldn't be solely about you. It should be about what you've developed that they can use in your absence.
Mm.
Good coaching create independency, bad coaching create codependency. So I'm signaling specifically to the person that I'm looking for.
You think people are making too many self-centered businesses?
It's not that they're in some cases it is self-centered. In many cases though, it's not self-centered. In many cases, people become experts at whatever their thing is and think that because they're an expert, that's going to make them a good CEO of a coaching business.
Mm.
And so they put the value in their coaching business and them being the key person of influence and the expert, which is okay. That's good enough to get people to buy. But then you have built yourself a prison instead of a business, because if you didn't develop systems and frameworks to allow people to feel as if they're with you even when they're not, then that means that they're always going to need to be with you in order to solve their problems. The problem for you is that it's only one of you. So if every time they got to solve a problem, they got to get you on a one-on-one call, they got to get you on your Voxer, they got to get you on your text, they got to get you, if they got to always get you, then you built yourself a prison, not a business. You can't get out of it. And the people will never be able to get the results unless you're there. So it's not necessarily a lot of the times that they're self-centered. They're just ignorant to how to best build out a coaching and consulting business that gives the people a high level of service while giving them a high level of margin in their life.
Mm.
Which is why we started Purpose to Profits. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that that's an issue.
Yeah. No, that's good, B.
And
Yeah,
I know this because I did it wrong for the first 2 years. Like I know what that looked like. Where you get off a flight and then look at your calendar and see like, dang, somebody just booked. I got to go park a car and get on a call with a mentee. Because I mean, if you're gonna have integrity, back to that word again, right? You got to honor what it is you sold them. But then you look up and you like, wait a minute, this is crazy. I had more time when I was at work. Yeah, I'm making millions of dollars, but it's miserable millions because I have no margin in my life. And for some people that make them feel more important, that they feel needed, right? I don't think any of us should wish for our own obsolescence, but we also should be secure enough that no, I don't want to be needed like that. I don't want people to have to feel as if I need to be at their beck and call. Like I want to develop systems and processes from my intellectual property that can make them feel as if they have the guidance, as if they're talking to me even when they're not with me.
that's good. It's real good.
And
And
the
yeah, I
other
want
part is this, bro. This the other part I want to just tap on
yeah, for sure.
is sometimes it's out of scarcity that people set their businesses up that way, because they feel like it's almost like if you at work and you got somebody training you, but they don't want to give you all the sauce because then they feel like you may be ahead of them. I'm sure everybody watching this who's had a job can attest to that person, right? Well, you can mess around and create your business in such a way that you feel like as long as they need me, they're gonna keep paying me. But that's where we go wrong. Because what if God's intent was for them to be assigned to you for only a specific season and it's time for them to move on and go get the next thing from the next person? It's arrogant of you to assume that as long as I keep them where they got always need me and they got to hit me for this and they got to hit me for that, then I got them. But if the Great Commission is to go out in the world and make more disciples, why did Jesus say it would be better for you that I go? He could have stayed. He could have did whatever he wanted to do. But it's better for you that I go. And somehow the initial 12 that he started with ain't here no more, but it's still billions of people coming to Christ. Why? Because it's amazing program he got.
100%. That's good.
I mean, he started a coaching
Great.
program a couple thousand years ago that's still working without him being here.
He definitely did. He definitely did. He started out with 12. Come on.
So that's all.
Good. And no, that's good. You hit. Listen, like I said, you on one today, man. You hitting up. You hitting all the spots, and I really just wanted to, and you obviously going to have a different answer from me because mine right now is execution, right? And even the last coaching call we had really freed up a lot of stuff in just my approach to making content, right? Because for a lot of my content, I was like, you need to change. I sounded like the pastors who people don't like hear preach. They're like, you need to change the rest. You go to hell. That's what I sounded like, me. I was like, if you don't change, listen, I ain't gonna tell you where you gonna go, but I got an idea where you gonna go, right? So that's how I felt like I was sounding, right? If I'm being honest, I was sounding like one of those pastors who just tell you where you finna go and not help you not go there, right? But it was until you were like, yo, talk with them, right? Like bring them on the journey. And it was crazy because my personal life showed me I never knew how to do that. I was never taking anybody with me on my personal journey. So then when I'm making content, I'm like, let me tell you what's wrong with you, because I ain't going to tell you what's wrong with me, right? Yeah. But when I started having really my quiet time and changing that and taking God on the journey with me, right? Because listen, like you said it in a B&B video. You were like, at some point, God just got to be your father, right? Like, and that changed the whole game for me. But I was talking at God too. I was talking at everybody. Like I wasn't talking with nobody, right? And that's how.
That's good. So just I never, like I told you yesterday, I never let you just roll under the bus by yourself. If there's a spot for me, that's something that changed in my prayer life over the last week that I didn't even realize in all these years. I started asking God more questions. And I know that sounds kind of crazy because it's like, well, then what else do you do when you talk to him? It's like normally I'm just talking to him, having a conversation with him, and I'm making requests from him. Can you give me more wisdom? Can you give me more? As opposed to saying, what you think about this?
Right.
Literally, this just changed in like the last week of talking to God of all my life, that I'm just asking him open-ended questions. You know what I mean? That I've never thought to do that before in prayer. Thank the Holy Spirit for that. But when you said that, I couldn't just blow by that and make that sound normal, because it's not. At least in my world, it ain't. Maybe it's people that's watching. It's like, what is wrong with y'all? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, y'all don't be asking God questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was, until I realized, like, no, them requests, not questions.
Yes.
That's good, bro. Yeah, I just wanted to double click on that.
Yeah, because that was, like you said, majority of my prayer life, right? And in this still season, it's like, I'm like, what do you want me to learn and know? I'm thinking it's, something totally different, right? Because everybody has their own thought of what God's trying to teach them. Whole time he's like, no, I just want you to get more intimate, because you think you have an idea of intimacy, but you don't. So now I'm asking him questions like, okay, so what do you think I should do now? Or how do you feel about this? Or should I go eat here? Or should I, like, I'm literally just like as if I'm walking with him. Like, hey, take a left or take a right. Like, because I would never do that before. I'm like, God, I'm going here and you better be there. That's how I would usually talk to him. Right. And Joseph McDaniel has a question. He says, "What if your avatar is co-ed? How do you properly name them, and clearly speak to that avatar?"
That's good. If your avatar is co-ed,
Yeah. How do
so
you properly name them clearly?
are they co-ed like in terms of couples, or are they co-ed entire? If he can just give us a little, as if I'm telling you to tell him, he can hear me right now. So that is crazy, by the way. Um, was it Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph McDaniel. Yeah,
Okay,
Pastor Joe.
so Joe, my question to you is, if they are co-ed, uh, better question is this: who is your avatar? Right? Who is your avatar?
That is a great question.
Yeah, who is your avatar? And while you answer that, I got a question for Praise.
What's up?
So in your content, you ask the question of, actually you don't ask the question, you make a statement. We just got to the point where you're asking questions now.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you make the statement of, I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to inform you.
Yeah, equip you. Yeah, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here
I'm
to
not here
equip
to
you.
entertain you, I'm here to equip you. I should have
Yeah,
known there were two E's for alliteration. But
yeah.
I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to equip you. Do you think that's welcoming to a stranger?
No, I think my tone was making it welcoming, but as I look back on it now,
It's telling people again, right? Like,
yeah,
it's like, I'm not here to entertain. It's like, well, dang, I don't know you enough to know if that makes sense for me yet.
right.
Because you're kind of
That's good.
telling me what you're doing again. It's like, oh, so you telling me how I'm going to listen to your content, as opposed to just doing it though. Like, as an example, what do I don't entertain people. I just equip them, but I don't tell them that's what I'm doing. They're gonna. It's similar to what we talked about last week about content creation, right? Where all because I give you motivation on Monday don't mean I need to tell you this motivation Monday, right? All because I curate content, specifically wisdom based content on Wednesday, don't mean I'm gonna tell you that it's Wisdom Wednesday. So you can do the same thing, because as I'm processing, I'm like, I wonder how many people are not watching just because you told them what you're not going to do from the beginning.
Mm.
Like, who is this guy to tell me what he gonna do? And I don't know you. You don't know. In their mind, they're having this conversation.
That's really good. That's really good. Anybody
So
ever tell
while it
you?
is a sticky statement, but it could have an adverse effect.
Right, right. Instead of
Does
just
that
doing
does
it,
that
just
does that resonate when I say that?
yeah, yes, 100%, 100%. That makes so much sense because it's so easy to just click off the page after that,
Yeah, it's like,
right?
bro, I
Just be
don't
like,
know you. Like, who you telling me how I'm gonna consume your content?
right, right. That's good. That's good. Anybody ever tell you was a smart man?
Not often.
Real.
Not often. Not often. So what did Joe
um,
respond?
yeah. Joseph said, correct. Parents, this is Pastor Joe. He said, coaching busy professional parents who want to be more intentional with their families.
Got it. So there you go. That's why I asked him who his avatar is. So he asked, how does he make it co-ed? Parents is a unifier.
Yeah. He said, what if your avatar is co ed? How do you properly name them and clearly speak to that avatar?
Right. But what I'm saying is when he just answered who his avatar was, he just
Mm.
fixed his own problem.
Mm.
You call them parents. So now they're not co-ed anymore. Does that make sense? They're no longer separate. He doesn't have to address them individually anymore. He just call them parents. So for my professional couples out there, both of you guys are swinging for the bleachers. You're making six figures plus. You got little margin in your life. Well, who gets the brunt of that typically? It's the ones that we call ourselves that we do all of this for, which is our children. Who am I talking to? Which either one of them watching it. You know, a lot of the time parents fail to realize kids didn't ask to be here. And while we can appreciate us going out and being ambitious, and I'm sure they can as well, that we can buy them some things and all the rest of it. But if we just pull back the curtain a little bit and we look, why is it that most of the kids that are on drugs are the ones that's most well off? I think that gets either gender's attention once again. So I just start addressing them as parents, right?
It's good.
As Pastor Joe, if that made sense, by the way.
Yeah. You he could hear you.
I
But yeah, I'm
think
waiting
I
for
get Every now and again I show my age. You know what I'm saying? Hey, pull up that ticky tock. Every now and again I show my age, man.
Yeah. But that was good, man. Like, yo, I'm telling you, just put on a he said, I love it. He said, so I can speak to both as a unit, so their name is parent.
100%. 100%. And then the bigger piece, Joe, is to talk about who they are, not what they are. So you speak to the who in them, right? The like I was just giving examples of, because I typically like clients that have money, so that's why I was talking about the both being juggernauts in their own right in corporate America, or business owners, and they both killing it, but they also killing the ones that they love most, right? From having very little time. How do you create a life that is fruitful financially, but is even more fruitful for your family? That's actually a great question that I will pose on my page too, as content, right? How do I create a life that is fruitful financially, but yet fruitful for my family?
Mm.
That's a great hook, actually. Uh, so yes,
Yeah, you
I would address who they are as parents more than I would address them separately as parents. And that doesn't mean, Joe, by the way, that some days that you couldn't just talk to the dads, and some days that you couldn't just talk to the moms. But I don't want you to think that you have to constantly delineate between both sexes and just address them as a unit as parents. And then whatever one is watching, it will resonate with them because they're part of that unit. Because what you're essentially showing most of these parents is the consequences of not stewarding well in that area and what's happening to their children as a result. So that's going to pull on the heartstrings of either, depending on the context of whatever it is you're addressing in the video. So lead acquisition, right? Three takeaways. One, make sure your motives is right for why you're creating whatever you're creating, whether it be your content, whether that be your lead magnets, whether that be your webinars. Make sure that the heart is right. Secondly, you got to be consistent. The one that's the most consistent will always win, period. Period. They just outlast you. And so because people can't depend on you, they just keep showing up to the one that they can count on. That's just how it go. And then lastly, you got to be uber clear about who you're talking to. You got to be clear about who you're talking to. Okay? So that they actually know that you're addressing them. And they don't have to guess from day to day who you're talking to.
You that guy, BA. That was great.
Man, you know what's funny is, bro, like some gonna hear that and they're gonna be like, got it. Others gonna hear that and be like, I thought he was gonna talk about how to make some money. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being, bro, I know people. If
You
I know
are. You are.
anything on this planet, I know people. And I'm just,
Yeah,
it's
bro.
sad where it's like, dude, were you here this whole time? Like, man,
People
I
be
thought,
wanting to profit, no process, man.
bro, it's, it's
That's
another guy.
crazy.
After this video, just click the next one. It's probably, he's there, the guy you're looking for, I'm sure. That's like, I'm about to show you in 5 minutes how to make $100,000. Like he's probably the next video or two over. Good luck with that. Okay.
Hey, man, you answered all my questions. You put on another master class today for me. I appreciate it.
Fair enough, man. If this was helpful, all I ask, like, subscribe, comment, share all those good things. And we back at it next week.
Yeah.
Was it, we always like to leave a little bit of space for any last question before we sign off. Anybody got any question that they want answered before we get out of here?
Joseph said thank you, by the way. He was like, I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh, amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. And then All Night said providing value is the foundation of making profit.
Yes. I like that alliteration too.
Yeah.
Ryan came
And I
with the
think
alliteration. Providing value is the foundation to making profit. I like that.
yeah.
It's good. It's good. Y'all learning, man. I like it.
Yeah, I think we good.
I told I'm gonna close on this because this is what I just told someone 2 days ago. I said, think of your business as a marriage. You don't get to stop being a wife because you don't feel like it on that particular day. Neither do you get to stop being a business owner because you didn't feel like it on that particular day. That's just what it is. If you want to win. Otherwise, you're just in a relationship. It's a situationship. You ain't married to it.
That's great. That just changed my whole perspective on business. That's insane. Y'all don't understand how much free value he's giving y'all. This is free, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. There ain't never gonna be another BA, y'all. Take notes. My goodness. A marriage? I would have never thought of that. That's
I don't
great.
care if I'm mad at my wife. It don't get it don't it does not allow me to not be her husband that day though. So that's what it is, bro. The ones that's married to it will have success. Those that's just in a situation shit, not so much. It's because they go out and cheat on their business every day. Whenever it ain't giving them what they want, they go cheat on it. I ain't screwing no content. I'm about to go out of town. I ain't. You know what I did before I went out of town? Shot enough content so that my assistant could post it while I was out of town.
Mm.
The same way if I'm leaving to go out of town that I make sure my wife's straight and got whatever she need while I'm gonna be going out of town. So anyway, if you need more help, book a call. Link is in the description. That's all I can tell you. God bless y'all. We see y'all next week. Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir.